Howdy. So this is day two, first morning on the Narrowboat Cheviot. That's apparently how it's pronounced. This is not scripted. I'm just talking to the camera. So yesterday, picked up the boat about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Did the walkthrough, figured out how stuff worked. One of the fun parts about this boat, it's fairly short. It's only 36 feet long, which, considering this is my first time solo boating, I figured that was a good idea. Keep it short, light, uncomplicated. So uncomplicated, in fact, the only heat source is the coal-fired stove, which I'm running not necessarily because I need the heat. I mean, a little bit of heat wouldn't hurt. It's not too, it's actually fairly comfortable in the boat, considering it was down in the single digits last night. Centigrade, for those of you Fahrenheit people. Yeah, it was down in the single digits last night, but either I generate a lot of heat or it's well insulated, because it didn't really get very cold. It is, so I didn't record last night because it was like a few hours of boating, most of that in the drizzle. I was a bit tired, hungry, so I made some dinner, watched some, stuff I downloaded to the iPad, and then I have this nifty little suction cup mount that I stuck in the window, attached my phone to it, and use that as a wireless access point. In the window, it gets a couple of bars of 4G, so good enough to stream YouTube and such. So a bit of that. Mainly just chilled, kind of got to know the boat a bit. So I'm going to start the vlog with this video, and then we'll have some clips from yesterday. One of the first things I wanted to do, part of the reason I picked the hire firm I did, was its location. Well, it's in a good location. From here, there's kind of several different paths that I can take for sightseeing, exploring, boating. I can experience locks and tunnels and stuff. Again, the advantage to having a short boat is it's a bit easier to maneuver through those kind of things. So good, something good to practice with. But the train of thought left without me. It is there. I may cut bits of this, trim it a bit here and there, or I might just leave it in, because you know what I'm like when I'm talking, which is random. But so part of the reason I picked where I wanted to start from was last year when I did the Narrowboat holiday with my parents. We went from the Coventry Basin onto the Oxford Canal, and we took that as far as the winding hole near Bridge 74, right after the Hillmorton Lock. So you go up to Hillmorton Locks, you wind, and then we headed back, just because that was as far as we could get on our full day of sailing. And then we had to turn around and do basically another full day of sailing back, because it was only a 4-day hire. But I kind of wanted to finish this leg of the canal from the Hawkesbury Junction off of the Coventry Canal to Braunston. And I figured, so I thought, hey, if I start in Braunston, I kind of go to the winding hole, and then I wind and I head back, then I've done, well, once I've reached the winding hole and I've winded. For those who are unaware, a winding hole is where you turn around. It's spelled W-I-N-D-I-N-G. You might think it's winding, but it's winding, because back in the olden days when boats were drawn by horse, the easiest way to turn the boat was to use the wind. You get it pointed just right, and then the wind just kind of blows the boat back around, winding it around to go in the other direction. And that's because the boats are longer than the canal is wide, so you can't just turn whenever you want. Although there were a few sections where I probably could have winded, even though it wasn't a winding hole, because the boat's so short. But I wanted to get to the winding hole, so I after turning around, I came back just a short distance to a set of Armco. Oh, hang on a second. Needed to close the door that lets the air draft in. The fire is well lit now, so don't need it quite so fast and furious. So I went far enough, did the wind, completed the length of this section of the canal, and it came back just a short distance to a mooring that I had spotted on my way there. Conveniently, a mooring with nobody else. There is an empty boat up ahead, one of those GRP, glass reinforced polymer, basically your typical fiberglass hulled boat, sitting there. As near as I can tell, it's semi-abandoned, but I haven't really inspected it. It was all shut up, and I moored, came inside, and basically just stayed in to let the drizzle go by. So fortunately today it's currently cloudy with blue skies poking in and out, so it should be a little bit better. According to the weather prediction for the week, yesterday was potentially the worst day in that it was the wettest and coldest. There is another day or two of rain predicted, but we'll see what it's like. I have my full weatherproof attire, so I can be waterproof from the head down. Just be prepared, and so even if it's a bit damp, I'll still sail. Technically I have to move every day in order to recharge the batteries so that I can power my stuff. I am being very careful with the electricity. When it was dark at night, I used my flashlight to navigate because save the battery, to charge the electronics, the phone and iPad and stuff. So my plan today is to head back towards to Bronson. I'm actually going to go past the hire firm where I got the boat, because my plan is to go through the Bronston Tunnel, which should be exciting because it's not a straight line. But you gotta get the full experience wherever you can. So that's my plan. Head in that direction and go through the tunnel, and then I have an idea of where I want to go, and we'll go in that direction. We'll sail for a few hours. I'm going to try to set up a camera. I got my GoPro. I'm going to try to get it set up running a time lapse up near the bow, so that y'all can see where I'm going, and hopefully in the back I'll grab a few clips. And before I set off, I will do a walkthrough of the boat so y'all can see what it is I'm living on for the next week. So, not sure how good this will sound. We'll find out later. But here is my boat. Well, for the week. The name is spelled Cheviot, which I initially thought was Cheviot, but I was informed it's Cheviot, named after a landmark nearby. Apparently they name all of their boats off of a nearby landmark. So that's where I drive from, inside the hatch underneath the that slides back underneath the orange ring. I have it locked now. I forgot to unlock it before I started recording this, but we'll see it from the inside. It's the tiller for the steering. We'll go inside. Not very big, which is kind of, I'll be honest, I kind of welcome the fact that it's not very big, because for my first time solo boating, something small and simple is definitely nice. Definitely nice. So here's the well deck. Inside we got the windlasses and mooring spikes and a bit of kindling, mallet, anchor, water hose. That there, green thing with the white oval, that's the coal bucket, or the coal box. It's where the coal is stored for the stove. Coming into the boat, Take the shoes off so don't track the water all over the place. Here is the lounge living area. Got television, some miscellaneous stuff. That is the power. Right here is the inverter. That's where all my electric comes from. My only electric, mains electric outlet in the boat, which is fine. Should be enough to charge my stuff. So this is the couch, also the bed. Surprisingly comfortable. Well, fantastically comfortable, I guess would be a better way to say it. The stove again. This here is the kitchen area. Got some beans for my breakfast. Got some eggs in the fridge. Kettle. Gotta have the tea. Then this here is the toilet and shower. Not very big, but we will find out how well they work later today. Gotta get some hot water. And to get the hot water, gotta run the boat. It's the only, all the hot water comes from the engine. So we got the kitchen sink here. Window looking outside. And we've got the bathroom sink here. A porthole looking outside. And then this here is I'm using as storage, but it is a single person twin bed that one could sleep on if they wanted to. I opted for the bigger one because more comfortable. So this here underneath this is the engine, the single cylinder engine, which we will hear in some of the video that we'll be shooting up above. And if I can't pull this back with one hand, but the fun part, hang on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, resuming the video. Had to open the hatch enough to illuminate. So we see on the right, that handle there, that is the gear selector, forward and reverse. Over on the left, let me get a bit closer so it's easier to see. We have this little control right here. That is the throttle. So this one is fun. And I mentioned this in another video, but I wanted to show you up close. But yeah, so you do a bit of throttle, bit of gear, put it in gear, bit of throttle. When if you need to put in reverse, you got to bring the throttle back, pull it into reverse, then do the throttle again, go back forward again. You pull the throttle back, put it in forward, give it the fuel. So yeah, not quite as easy as just having one handle that does both the throttle and the gear select. But part of the fun. Come back around in the kitchen again. We got the fridge, storing the food, making it cold. Got an oven and hob. Hob works quite well. I made chili mac for dinner last night. It was excellent. And then got the hob underneath. At some point this week, I'm going to try making toast in the grill. Pots, pans, glasses, and such as needed. And that is the boat. Hey, don't know how well you can hear me. This is a test, but I am now on the boat. Just left the tire firm. As you can hear, perhaps, I got a fun little boat here under me. I got a single cylinder, pumping away. Hopefully, again, you can hear me. Fun part, it's got separate throttle and gearbox controls. I got fuzz. So that'll be interesting. None of this, one handle throttle gear. It's throttle and then gear, or gear and then throttle, depending on where you're at.
So hopefully we will get to have some fun cruising, a few boats, and some interesting stories. Just now passing by Braunston Marina. For those in the know, it's a fairly famous marina. Because according to the sign, it's Braunston Marina. Right back there. I am continuing in that direction. At some point I'll get a camera mounted up towards the front so we can see where we're going. But gotta get somewhere first. I'm traveling slowly right here because when you go past moored boats, you go slow. If you go too fast, you get a wake, rocks the boats, unhappy people. So you take your time. The double bridges at Braunston. Don't remember what is in that direction though. This is the direction I'm heading. We got cows. And it smells like it too. So we got fields over here, pastures. I've got no idea what's over there. It's all hedge. And towpath. That's the towpath side over there. Surprisingly, there's a bit of a current on the canal. We have had some rain the last few weeks, so perhaps there's a bit of water moving. Ordinarily on the canal, there is no water movement. Most canals are stagnant because of the way they're designed, but this one has some flow. Editor Jason here. Turns out the reason for the quote flow is as my boat moves forward and it's pushing water out of the way, it can't really push it forward, so it pushes it back along the sides of the boat and then it comes around the back, kind of like, you know, like air over a wing. But what this does is it kind of pulls stuff on the surface back with the water as it's flowing backward, making it look like flow. There is the M45. At least that's what it said, or map at least. We are about to pass under it, which is a bit welcome, I gotta say, because it's a little drizzly out here right now. And a few moments under the cover will be nice and not as damp. So that right there is the winding hole where a year ago I was on a cruise with my parents. We turned around, or winded, to return back to the base. So I just have now finished, in a way, the Hawkesbury to Braunston section of the Oxford Canal. We are now headed back towards Braunston. Looking for somewhere to moor up because it is almost 6 o'clock and I'm ready to get warm and some food.